Are you thinking about investing in real estate, but maybe you're priced out of the state that you currently live in? Or maybe you live in Oklahoma and you want to invest in real estate in Oklahoma? Let me give you my opinion as to why I think investing in real estate in Oklahoma is a great idea. I'm Marcie Billen, and I am a real estate agent in Oklahoma. These are my top 7 reasons as to why I think Oklahoma is a great place to invest in real estate. Now, I am a residential real estate agent. I don't deal in anything else, so you're gonna find my bias in that there. And these 7 things are just my opinion. Like, I have some facts and figures behind some of them, but this is my experience as well. So number 1, the Oklahoma real estate market is relatively inexpensive. So Oklahoma is known as being relatively inexpensive for real estate. And of course, we're not the cheapest, and I hate that word cheap. We're not the most inexpensive, but we're really up there with the most inexpensive. You may have learned that the cost of living in Oklahoma is very low, and real estate prices definitely contribute to that. On top of that, our real estate market tends to be really stable, meaning like we don't have the ups and downs that we may see in some coastal states. And that also means we have really steady appreciation. So for instance, from 2016 to 2021, so 5 years, over the span of 5 years, our home values increased around 40%, some more, some less. Number 2 is our rate of growth. So in 2021, Oklahoma City actually ranked as the 6th fastest growing city in the nation. Since the start of the panorama in 2020, we have had massive demand for housing in the state, which is one of the reasons why our house prices have gone up so much. So you may be asking, like, why is Oklahoma City, Oklahoma growing so much? Well, there's so many reasons. There's like 1,000-fold reasons for this. One reason is jobs. So we have, of course, the Department of Defense, and we have growing places like Hobby Lobby. We have the healthcare field. All of these places, they need people to work for them. We have tech companies, gas and oil companies. I mean, you name it, and you can probably find a job. A person might even cite politics as a reason to move to Oklahoma. I've heard it before. Another reason is easier travel. Oklahoma is really invested in their airports especially, and we're seeing a little dip in the price of flights themselves. All right, my 3rd reason is overflow from Texas. Now, I'm talking about people moving in from all over the country. Like, it's not just about Texas, but here's the thing, right? So we've had people moving from California to Texas and from other states as well, but that's the big one. And when that happens, we kind of get this overflow. Like, Texas is more expensive to live than Oklahoma. And so what we'll see sometimes is like people selling their homes in Texas for a really high price and then coming to Oklahoma, which is a little bit more inexpensive, in order to purchase or to rent. This is not an exact science, of course, but Oklahoma is always the number 1 place that people move out of from Texas. So we have the most people moving from Texas to Oklahoma at any given year. Number 4 is universities. So we have 2 really big public universities here in Oklahoma. One is actually in Norman, which is where I live, and it's south of the Oklahoma City Metro. We have a campus that really rates highly for student life, of course, cost of living, and like how inexpensive it is to get an education there. The other large public university that we have here in Oklahoma is Oklahoma State University, and that is located in Stillwater, which technically is not in any of the metros here in Oklahoma. I do believe it's a closer drive to Tulsa, but it's really its own town, right? So one of the big draws for students to OSU is actually going to be that the price for tuition is 78% of the national average for tuition around the nation. So it costs 78% less to attend OSU than it does the average, university in the US. There are lots of other public universities. There's also a lot of private universities. And so a lot of times I hear investors really love to pick up homes and, multiplexes, things like that around these universities. The other reason I see that's a really good idea to invest here in Oklahoma is our land potential. So we still have a lot of land left here in the metros, like out in the country. I mean, wherever you can find it, there's a lot of open land left. So that means that you have the opportunity to build, whether that be residential or commercial. I think that's a great opportunity here in Oklahoma. All right, number 6 is quality of life improvements. So I've lived in Oklahoma my whole life, and I'm from Tulsa. I moved to the Oklahoma City metro area when I was 18. What we're seeing is an uptick in downtown, specifically in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa. Other cities are seeing this as well, but this is where we can really see the economic growth that has occurred over the past, 15 to 20 years. So we have parks and museums and walkable areas and award-winning restaurants. So people want to live here because you can find the same thing that you can in Dallas, or that you can in Houston, or that you can in LA. It's the same amenities. It just may be fewer and far between, but the areas are really growing. We still have concerts, we still have pro basketball, all of these different things that keep people happy. Number 7 of my 7 reasons to invest in Oklahoma is that we are a pro-landlord state. So what does that mean? That means that it's pretty easy to evict someone if they're not paying their rent. You can give a 5-day notice if someone has violated their lease agreement, and then after that, those 5 days, if they haven't fixed the issue, then you can apply for eviction, and it takes around 7 days to get a court date after that. And then once you go to court and the judge grants you the eviction, then they have 48 hours to get out. So hopefully that answered your questions as to why it's such a great idea to invest in Oklahoma. I would definitely watch this video next.